Hey, let's turn AI into our private math tutor.
Yes, it can explain concepts until we get it.
Exactly.
Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving deep into a topic that honestly brings up a very specific physical feeling for a lot of people.
And what feeling is that exactly?
Panic. Just pure cold panic. I'm talking about math anxiety.
Oh yeah, the fight or flight response.
Exactly. You know the feeling, right? You open a textbook or you look at a test paper and you see this jumble of letters mixed with numbers. Maybe a Greek symbol or two just to really scare you. And your stomach just drops.
It really does. It feels like an impenetrable wall. You convince yourself, I am just not a math person, and that becomes your reality.
But, and this is why we are here today, we might be standing at a turning point. We have got this big stack of research in front of us suggesting we are entering a new age of mathematics learning. And it is all because of artificial intelligence.
We do have to be very careful about how we frame this, though, especially for our listeners who might be learning English and trying to navigate these new tools at the same time.
Right, because I know what everyone is thinking. Oh, great AI. I can just copy and paste my homework into ChatGPT and it gives me the answer and I am done.
And that is the trap. That is what I call outsourcing your brain, basically letting the machine do the thinking for you.
Which defeats the whole purpose.
Completely. If you use AI that way, you aren't learning math. You're just learning how to copy and paste. You cheat yourself out of the knowledge.
So the mission for this deep dive is different. We aren't talking about cheating. We are answering the question of how do we use these tools to actually learn the material?
Think of it this way. For the last 30 years, if you wanted an answer, you bought a $5 calculator. That technology is old news. We don't need help calculating anymore. We need help thinking.
So we need to stop seeing AI as a calculator and start seeing it as a private tutor.
Exactly. A tutor that lives in your pocket and never sleeps. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That is a very compelling pitch. But I want to push back on this a little bit. If I am a student and I have this tool that can just give me the answer, surely the temptation is to take the shortcut. How do we break that habit?
It requires a complete shift in mindset. Most people treat the AI like a vending machine. You put in a math problem and you get out a cookie.
And everyone wants the cookie.
Of course they do. But to actually learn, you have to treat the AI like a conversation partner. You need to use the Socratic method.
Okay, Socratic method. That sounds very academic. For our listeners who might not know that term, what does it mean to use the Socratic method with an AI?
It just means learning through asking questions. You never ask for the final answer directly. You ask the AI to explain the concept. You have a dialogue.
So instead of typing, what is the answer to 5x plus 2 equals 12, I would type what?
You would type, I am looking at this equation and I don't understand what the letter X represents. Can you explain that to me simply?
You force the AI to explain the why before you even touch the what?
Precisely. And this leads us to one of the most powerful techniques we found in the research. It is a prompt called ELI5.
Explain like I'm 5.
It sounds a bit silly, right? But it is incredibly effective, especially if you are also building your English vocabulary.
I have actually tried this for non-math topics, and it is wild how well it works. But does it really work for something super complex like advanced calculus?
That is actually where it shines the most. We looked at a case study of a student struggling with something called a Taylor series. Now, if you have taken calculus, a Taylor series can be a total nightmare. It involves infinite sums and derivatives.
Just hearing the phrase infinite sums makes me want to run for the hills.
I know it sounds terrifying. But this student used the prompt, explain a Taylor series to me as if I am a 10-year-old. And the AI completely stripped away the confusing jargon.
What did it say instead?
It's stopped talking about complex derivatives and explained that a Taylor series is just a way to rewrite a complicated curvy line as a bunch of simple straight lines added together.
Wow. That is actually a really helpful visual. Even I get that.
Right. It turned a complex math problem into a simple idea. And once you get that simple hook, you can layer the complex math back on top. But you need that basic foundation first.
Okay, so that is great for understanding a big concept. But let us get down to the details. Say I am doing my homework, I am staring at the page, and I am totally stuck. I don't want the answer, but I literally cannot move forward.
This is where you use the hint strategy. This is crucial for keeping your brain active. You explicitly type to the AI, I am stuck on this step. Do not give me the answer. Just give me a hint about what rule I should use next.
You really have to tell it, do not give me the answer.
You have to be very strict with it. It's like having a teacher standing over your shoulder who just whispers, hey, remember the distributive property, and then steps back to let you do the work.
Speaking of teachers standing over your shoulder, that image alone brings up a lot of anxiety for people.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember being in class and you have a question you're dying to ask, but you think if I raise my hand, everyone's going to think I'm stupid. The teacher just explained this.
That fear of looking stupid is the single biggest blocker to learning math. It shuts your brain down. When you are stressed, the part of your brain that does logic literally goes offline.
So the social pressure in a classroom makes you physically less able to think.
Exactly. But here is the beauty of the AI. It has infinite patience. It doesn't have a face to frown at you.
It creates a safe sandbox.
That is the perfect term, a safe sandbox for making mistakes. You can ask, why did you move the 5 to the other side of the equation? And if you still don't get it, you can ask it 10 more times. The AI will never sigh or roll its eyes at you.
I love that. It separates the social anxiety from the intellectual struggle. Okay, so we have the basics down. Like 5 for concepts and the hint strategy for when we are stuck. What if our listener is really ambitious? What are the pro-level moves?
If you really want to test if you know something, you have to try the Feynman technique.
Named after the famous physicist Richard Feynman, right?
The very same. He famously said that if you cannot explain something simply to Rexing, you don't really understand it. So with this technique, you flip the script. You become the teacher, and the AI becomes the student.
Wait, so I'm teaching the supercomputer. That feels completely backwards.
It does feel backwards, but it forces your brain to organize information differently. You use a prompt like, I am going to explain the concept of fractions to you. Please listen and tell me if there are any gaps in my logic.
That is fascinating. So instead of the AI checking my math result, it is checking my teaching.
Correct. And as you type it out, you will catch your own mistakes, you will find your own fuzzy spots, and if you miss something, the AI gently points it out to help you patch the holes in your knowledge.
You aren't just consuming information, you are actively creating it. Now, I want to pivot to something that I think is the specific nightmare of almost every math student.
Let me guess. Word problems.
Yes, word problems. Yeah. A train leaves Chicago at 60 miles per hour.
And another train leaves New York.
Stop, my heart rate is going up already. But seriously, why are word problems so much harder? It is just the same math, right?
It is the same math, but it is buried. The panic comes from information overload. You see a huge paragraph of text and your brain freezes because it doesn't know what is important and what is just extra flavor text.
So how does AI help us with that overload?
We use the roadmap technique. You feed the word problem to the AI, but again, you give very specific instructions. You say, analyze this word problem. Identify the known variables and the unknown variables. Do not solve it yet, just create a roadmap.
So you are asking it to act as a project manager.
Exactly. It separates the English language part from the math part. It might say, step 1, convert the speed. Step 2, set up the equation. Once you see that simple list of steps, the anxiety evaporates because you have a plan.
Breaking it down makes it manageable. Now, what about people who are visual learners? If you tell me an equation, I have to close my eyes and try to picture the line. Can AI help with visualizing?
This is where the newest models like GPT-4o or Claude are total game changers. You can ask them to describe how a function looks on a graph.
Give me an example of how I would prompt that.
Let us say you are studying graphs. Ask the AI, how would this line move if I changed this specific number, like the constant c?
So I'm asking it to mentally animate the math for me.
Yes. It might say, imagine the curve is a bowl. If you increase the letter c, you are lifting the bowl straight up.
Lifting the bowl. See, simple English words like that really made it stick.
It sticks because you aren't memorizing a complex rule about vertical translation. You are visualizing a bowl moving up.
This sounds amazing. It really is like having a super tutor. But I have to play devil's advocate here for a second. We are trusting this AI a lot, and I have heard stories. Not all AI is created equal when it comes to math, right?
This is the most critical warning label we need to put on this deep dive. We have been talking about chatbots like ChatGPT and Claude. These are large language models, or LLMs.
And what is an LLM, really?
At its core, it is a text predictor. It is like a super advanced version of the autocomplete on your phone keyboard. It predicts the next word based on what sounds good. It is brilliant at language, but it is not built for pure logic.
So when I ask it a math problem, it isn't actually calculating the numbers?
Often no. It is predicting what the answer should look like. We call these hallucinations. An LLM can confidently give you a math answer that is completely wrong.
That is terrifying. So if ChatGPT is the English major who is really good at sounding smart, who is the math major we should be talking to?
The gold standard for actual computational math is a tool called Wolfram Alpha.
Wolfram Alpha. I've heard of it, but how is it different from a chatbot?
It is built on pure logic and structured data. It actually does the math. It solves the equation based on rules, not predicting text so it doesn't hallucinate.
So should we just ditch the chatbots and only use Wolfram Alpha then?
No, because Wolfram Alpha is terrible at explaining concepts naturally. It is a cold, hard calculator. It gives you the exact answer, but it will not give you the nice story about the bowl moving up.
I see. So the dream team is combining them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want the human-like explanation from the chatbot, but the flawless calculation from Wolfram Alpha. And many chatbots now have plugins that let them talk to Wolfram Alpha directly.
Okay, that makes total sense. But what about when we aren't sitting at a computer? A lot of students are just studying on their mobile phones. There are apps like PhotoMath and Symbolab everywhere.
Those are fantastic mobile tools. With PhotoMath, you literally snap a photo of your handwritten homework and it solves it instantly.
But again, isn't that just the ultimate cheating tool? Snap a photo, write down the answer, and close the app.
It is the ultimate cheating tool if you let it be. But there is a specific study method you can use to make it a powerful learning tool. We call it Math Peekaboo.
Math Peekaboo. Okay, I'm intrigued. What are the rules of this game?
It is simple. You snap the photo of your problem, but, and this is the rule you cannot break, you must immediately cover the final answer on your screen with your thumb. Do not look at the final result.
Resist the temptation to just copy it down.
Exactly. These apps have a show steps feature. So you look at step 1, but you stop. You look at your own paper, you try to guess what step 2 is. You do the work yourself first. Then you reveal step 2 on the app to check if you were right.
So you are using the app to verify your logic line by line rather than just grabbing the solution at the end?
Yes. It turns your homework into an interactive feedback loop. You get instant validation if you are right and instant correction if you are wrong.
That brings to a really big theme here, the human element. We have all these powerful tools, but if we rely on them too much, is there a risk we just forget how to think?
That is a very real fear. There is a great analogy for this. Think about GPS navigation in your car.
Okay, drive that analogy home for me.
When you use GPS to drive somewhere, you get to the destination perfectly. You turn left when it says turn left. But if I asked you afterwards, how is the city laid out? Or where is north of your key? You probably couldn't tell me.
No clue. If my GPS breaks, I'm completely lost. I don't know the landmarks because I was just blindly following the blue line on the screen.
Exactly. If you use AI for every single math step, you are just following the blue line. You reach the correct answer, but you never learn the map of mathematics. You aren't building those vital pathways in your brain.
So how do we stay map literate? How do we make sure we are actually learning the city layout?
You need to practice what we call mental sandboxing.
Mental sandboxing. What is the rule there?
The rule is you must struggle with the math problem for at least 10 minutes before you're allowed to open the AI.
10 whole minutes? That sounds kind of painful.
It is supposed to be. That struggle and that frustration is literally your brain trying to wire new connections. It is like lifting weights. If the weight is too light, you don't build any muscle. If you jump straight to the AI, you are letting the robot lift the weights for you.
So you have to embrace the struggle for 10 minutes. Then and only then you bring in the backup.
Right. And when you do bring in the AI, you need to change the dynamic. You are not a helpless student asking for a lifeline. You are the manager, and the AI is your intern.
The manager and the intern. I like this. So I am the boss in this scenario.
You are the boss. And as the boss, it is your job to verify the intern's work. You cannot just blindly sign off on whatever paper they hand you.
Because as we mentioned earlier, the intern sometimes hallucinates and just makes things up.
Yes. There is a famous example that went viral recently where an AI claimed that 9.11 is larger than 9.9.
Wait, seriously, 9.11 is larger than 9.9?
That is exactly what it confidently stated.
How is that even possible? A basic calculator from the 1970s knows that is wrong?
It goes back to the AI using text logic instead of math logic. It looked at the numbers like software version numbers. In software version 9.11 comes after version 9.9. So the text predictor thought 11 is bigger than 9, therefore it must be larger.
That is a wildly human mistake for a machine to make. But it is a dangerous one if you are trying to build a bridge or pass a test.
It is. And if you aren't paying attention and you are just in copy-paste mode, you will write that wrong answer down. That is why you always need context checks.
What exactly is a context check?
It means taking a step back and asking, does this answer actually make sense in the real world? For example, if you are calculating the height of a person in a word problem, and the AI says the answer is 50 meters.
Then you are calculating the height of Godzilla, not a person.
Exactly. But you would be surprised how many students will just write down 50 meters because the computer said so. You have to be the pilot. The AI is a powerful engine, but you are the driver.
This has been such an eye-opener. I think for a lot of people, math has always felt like this scary giant wall they just cannot climb.
And I hope today has shown that it doesn't have to be a wall at all. Math is really just a language. It isn't a magic trick to make you feel bad. It is a language used to describe the world.
And for those of you listening who are learning English right now, you already know how to learn a language. AI is just the ultimate dictionary or translator for the language of math.
Yes, it translates those complex alien symbols into simple words you can understand.
So before we wrap up today, we want to give you a challenge. We always like to leave you with something practical to try this week.
This is a really fun one. I want you to take a math concept that you completely hate. Maybe it is fractions or algebra or standard deviation, something that always annoyed you.
Okay, pick a hated topic. Then what do we do?
Go to an AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude and ask it to explain that math concept using a hobby you absolutely love.
Oh, that is brilliant. So if I am really into basketball, I ask it to explain algebra using basketball.
Exactly. Or cooking or video games or painting.
Yeah.
Whatever you are passionate about.
Explain the quadratic formula using basketball strategies. I bet the result would actually be fascinating to read.
It really is. When you see the math connected to something you already understand and enjoy, the fear just disappears. That little voice in your head that says, I can't do math, starts to go completely silent.
It shifts your whole focus from just trying to get a passing grade to actually mastering the language of the universe.
And that is a powerful place to be. You finally realize the math isn't there to trick you. It is there to describe the things you already love.
Well, that is all we have time for today. We hope this deep dive helps you tackle your next math problem, or helps you help your kids with theirs with a lot less anxiety and a lot more strategy.
Keep learning and experimenting.
Thanks for joining us, and we will see you on the next deep dive.